Hey JCA, we've been spending the past couple of weeks talking about arthritis. So I thought that I would spend today giving you a quick run through of sort of all of the main points that I've been talking about for the past few weeks and really give you the tools that you need to reverse any arthritis or pain that you are experiencing. So I'm gonna kind of go like in a list. Number one is to seek the root cause. That is always the number one thing that I recommend with regards to any imbalance or discomfort that you are experiencing. Understanding why it's happening, and rather than just sort of taking whatever it is, a medicine or pills or something to like treat the symptom, we are really figuring out why are you feeling this thing from underneath and reversing that. And that's what's really going to lead to long-term reversal of whatever you're experiencing and pain relief and just relief of whatever you're feeling. So the first one is the possible root causes is if your arthritis is an autoimmune condition. If you've ever been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and autoimmunity is the root cause of what you're experiencing, then there are certain steps that we will take to reverse the autoimmune process. And some of those steps would be to understand what triggered your autoimmunity. Was it a food? It could be gluten or dairy or corn or soy or shellfish. There's several different possible food insensitivities that could lead to autoimmunity. It could have happened, you might have noticed that that process began after a traumatic experience or some really stressful event. And that's another piece to this puzzle. If it's an autoimmune process and you are experiencing a lot of stress, then that would be something that you would want to get to the bottom of and figure out better coping mechanisms and ways to reduce stress and cause a feeling of calm and that kind of stress relief. That's one thing. So that's if your arthritis is autoimmune. If it's not, and then you have to further seek the root cause of the type of osteoarthritis that you are experiencing. So one example would be if it were from past injuries and you have a lot of scar tissue. That's one example. Another example is chronic inflammation. And here we go again. Chronic inflammation, we need to further step into that and figure out what is causing your inflammation. Is it because you have a gut dysbiosis, which means that with all the different bugs that live in your gut, maybe you have one strain of bacteria that is crowding out all the rest, and you kind of have like this weed that is taking over in your gut microbiome, and that is an imbalance in the gut bacteria, and you would experience things like discomfort after eating or irregular bowel movements or bloating and heartburn and those kinds of things. So if that is something that you're experiencing, then that's a root cause that could lead to inflammation in the body and throughout your joints, and then arthritis. Do you have any nutrient deficiencies? So vitamin or mineral deficiencies that could lead to your body being inflamed, because without all of the nutrients that our body needs, we cannot keep inflammation down and we can't have all the healthy processes that our body needs. So how do you know if you're nutrient deficient? Well, number one is, what kind of a diet are you eating? Making sure that you are eating a nutrient-dense, nutrient-diverse, and high-quality diet. So are you eating all the different colors of the rainbow? Are you making sure that every time you eat, you are consuming a food that is packed with nutrition rather than a food that is void of nutrition, like high sugar or high saturated fat that doesn't include vitamins or minerals. So if we really pay attention, using every eating opportunity as a chance for you to get more nutrition into your body, and making sure that you're diversifying the nutrients that you're eating by not eating the exact same foods every single day, that's really important. Making sure that you're eating a whole unprocessed food diet, which means that the food that when you purchase in the store, it looks the way it looked when it was found in nature. So nothing was added to it to make it last longer on the shelf or make it taste different or change the texture, and nothing was taken out of it, like gluten, for example. White flour, many ingredients were taken out of that. Fiber, all things that were taken out of that original grain when it was found in nature versus the way it looks as white flour when you purchase it from the store. So processed foods is not just adding ingredients to the food, but it's also taking ingredients out of it. That's also processing. And when you eat a food that is processed, your body does not recognize it as a food, and it will send out immune cells to get rid of that ingredient, and that is called inflammation. So eating whole, unprocessed foods is another way to ensure that you are lowering inflammation. If you have obesity or insulin resistance, so this would be, resistance would be if you've noticed that your fasting blood sugar when you've taken a blood test is high. So if it's getting up towards the higher 90s or low hundreds, then you are having a little trouble getting the sugar from your blood into your cells, which means that your body is not necessarily responding to insulin the way that it should, because insulin is responsible for moving sugar from your blood into your cells. So insulin resistance, obesity, if you have a lot of fat tissue on your body, fat tissue releases inflammatory cells. So that's another example. All of these things can lead to inflammation, and then how you would want to address the obesity and the insulin resistance would be following the dietary recommendations that I've already made. Taking breaks between your meals, 4 to 5 hours between meals, and 10 to 12 hours over the night where you're not eating. That's a really important way to make sure that your body is fully digesting the food from the last meal and also regulating your blood sugar throughout those hours of fasting between meals and over the night. So just as what I'm trying to tell you here is that we need to keep digging to understand the root cause of inflammation, and that inflammation is one of the root causes for osteoarthritis. And then the other important things to do is make sure that you are well hydrated. So what I told you last week was to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water. And then the other thing is, if you're one of those types of people who notices that you drink lots and lots of water, but you never seem to feel quenched, you constantly feel thirsty, it is possible that you need some more electrolytes. So things like a little more sodium, potassium, magnesium. So there's lots of options online to add electrolytes to your water. A way to test this would be take a sip of pickle juice or the water that's in sauerkraut and see if that quenches your thirst. And then that would tell you that the water you're drinking is not normally making its way into your cells. And so you need some more electrolytes to help the water that you drink get into your cells. That's a good test. But just in general, what I've already recommended is half of your body weight in ounces of water, and then If you feel like you're drinking lots and lots of water and you're never feeling quenched, then adding electrolytes, you can look on Amazon and say, low sugar, because those are the best ones. You don't want electrolytes that are high in sugar. So find one no sugar electrolyte powder, and you can add that to your water to get additional potassium and magnesium and things like that to help the water get into your cells. Next thing that you need to think about is movement. And I know this sounds hard because if you're experiencing arthritis, you're already in pain, and movement is not always so easy. However, even stretches, even, really slow walks, whatever you can do to stand up and not stay sedentary. Another option would be to work with somebody, a personal trainer, somebody who can really ease this process for you, teach you what the right movements would be for you. That is another option, but really making sure that you're not sedentary all day is especially important. And then also, it's very important that you get adequate sleep. Sleep is when your body releases one of the most potent antioxidants and anti-inflammatory hormones called melatonin. And it is through the night that your body clears out inflammation so that you wake up refreshed and rejuvenated. So getting good almost 8 hours of quality sleep every night is especially important. It's important to understand if you are a mouth breather or a nose breather, because if you're breathing out of your mouth, if you're snoring, if you have sleep apnea, then it's possible that you are not getting into that deep cleansing sleep that you need. So there are ways to train yourself to breathe out of your nose. You could actually buy on Amazon these little pieces of tape that you can put over your mouth to train your body to breathe from your nose and make sure that you're getting into that deep quality sleep that includes releasing melatonin and clears your body from inflammation throughout the night. Very important. And then I will always emphasize the importance of reducing stress. So whatever you need to do to take time during the day where you're clearing your mind, whether it's meditation, journaling, some hobby that you enjoy, music, singing, dancing, whatever it is that helps you feel relief from stress, that's very important, because stress causes the same inflammation that a problematic food would, or a toxin in the air, or even a virus. Yes, so it's the same type of chemical inflammatory response that happens from stress. So we do need to figure out ways to handle, because stress will always be with us. We can't really control what we are faced with every day, but we can control the steps we take to treat ourselves well. So I hope that these few weeks discussing arthritis has been helpful for you. Please feel free to contact me. Let me know if you're experiencing one of these issues, and if you feel that I could give you some good help and advice, I would love to work with you. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.